Ua rupe rirora i a rongo. Te wenua ko rongo. Ko rongo ki te wakatipua, ko rongo ki te wakatahito. Ko rongo ki te mai mai aroa. Ko rongo. E rongo e wakairi ia. Ki runga ai. Turuturu o iti wakamaua kia tina. Teina, aumea uie. Te ngutu o te ko te reona te ko kako. Te manu nāna i noho ki te matapihi o te ware ko kupe. Ka oki e iau ki te oku are iti ki te oku are nui. Ki te wātu nui a tāne wakarongorongo ake ki te tangi o te manu tui. Tui a. Tui a i runga, tui a i raro. Tui a i roto, tui a i wao. Tui a ngā moko te taurawiri ariki. Tui a ngā moko te taurawiri poropiti. Ka rongo te pō, ka rongo te ao. Taku tau mata tonu ko runga ko rua peu. Ka te ate te tiro ki te ao ka rere mai. I runga no i te reo, o te hetu māra mo tai uru e tai iri ki runga i te pāonga ariki. Nei rā te mihi atu ki te rao ngā wae. E pūpū ake ki nuku au. Ko waikato iti, ko waikato nui. I nā tona kōrero e roi mata taku kā i te au i te pō. Ka mihi atu ki te nihotani hāota ko tahitanga. Tēnei ka pīkau nei tarai ki tau piri maunga ka mihi ake. Ki tō tātou ariki nui. Kuini ngā waihono i te pō tatau te wero te tuawaru. Tai atu ki te kāhui ariki nui tonu. I runga i te kōrero. Rire aupai mārire. O ki nei ia ki te ātākura kōrunga tongariro maunga. Tēnā kā mihi ake ki te ware āriki o te au. Kia tika ai te tika raina ka oki mai ai ki runga i te pāonga āriki. Nei rā te mihi atu ki a koe te tuwoaki. Koutou rā ngā pūmanawa oro te kōtahitanga e tika ana. Tēnei te mihi. Huri atu. Kia koutou e ngā matamore ureu o ngā mātāwaka. E ngā maunga waka i. E ngā awa tūpua. Me kira. E ngā au e toru. Ara mai e ki rungi a au o te au. Tai au a uru nei. I raro iho i tēnā te maunga tito ea. Anā, i runga i te rongo o te kōrero. Mai te karauna, te waka nui ake tōna mana mo tuhake, hei maunga tipua mo tātau. No leira uia, tuia. I runga i te karango o tō mātau pōtiki. I nā te kura ko mōna ne hua tu ki roto i te koroerangi o te korokoro o te parata. Ki te waro unanga o te tini o te manu. Tēnā te a kupuaki aki o tōku aini. O te kahurangi a tarian. Koutou tura mama. Mātu atu. Whawhai tia ta whawhai pai. I runga i tēnā tangi otu ana mo taku pōtiki. I runga i te mārama nei o tēnei tau. Hei te rua te kau māwaru. Ka waka nui a. Te toru te kau. Mai tēnā toa i tūtū ana te pūehu ki runga o Pakaitore. No leire e te. Huritia ki tōhoe. Kia mau, kia au, kia rite. O leira, kare toro o te kōrero. Ngare hara mai ki tēnei pauherenga waka o kura upu. Hara mai ki tēnei pauherenga tangata o Ngāti Apo ngā waiki. Me ngā ringa whātoro toro orangi whakaturia o Taitapu. Nei rā ana mōrehu, te tangi nei, te mihi nei, ki a koutou e tiama, nau mai piki mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Eke te are ake apa
Pai ngara ia te tapu ai o tapu akane
tuku atu taraka kōrero ki te manu karere e te pōtiki hawa e kai ako.
Mānawa mai ai te pūtanga o te ariki, mānawa mai ai te pūtanga o te tauira. Ka eke ki rongo rupe, ka ki rangi tā hua. Tēnei te whatu kei au, kei te kaonga tapu te mauri tū te whiwhi ānuku, te mauri tū te whiwhi ārangi. Kei te whiwhi ai waho, kei te rawi ai waho, puritia mai waho, tāwhia mai waho, tēnā te mauri ora ka whakapuki, tēnā te mauri ora ka whakakake, tēnā te mauri ora ka eke. Ko te mauri o tēnei āriki, ko te mauri o tēnei tauira, ko te mauri kāputa ki te whai ao, ki te ao mārama, turu o whiti whakamaua kia tīnā, haumie huie. Tēnei au, tēnei mātai tautoku i ngā mihi kua mihia, ki koutou ko tai tata mai, ko tai tawhiti mai, nau mai piki mai, i rungu i te karanga o tō tātou pononga ko takato tiraha mai. Nau mai piki mai, kake mai, i rungu i tō tātou marae, i mua i tō tātou whare rangi tāhuahua e mihi kawatu ki koutou, nau mai, hare mai, a whakatau mai rā. O tira ki tō tātou tumuaki tēnei mātou mihi e tautuku ani ngā kōrero, kua kōrero hea, e te tumuaki tēnei mātou mihi aroha, mihi maioha ki a koe, tātu ki ngā pau, o tira kia tātou katoa, mauri ora kia tātou. Tēnā tātou. Last night we were lucky enough to have a very good night. And I had made a promise to my uncle that today will be very PC. And so if you were lucky enough to hear the stories last night, and if you weren't here, well, unfortunate to you. But again, we're going to be quite lucky to still hear some stories from people that spent time with Pakaitore over his years here at home. And if Ben, you're out there representing Wellington, and then also the time that he spent in Australia. That'll be followed by our whakamoimiti, our pōtoro. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to extend our warm welcome and to support the kōrero of our pai. Nau mai, hare mai, piki mai, kake mai. O tira, tō tātou a pōtoro rehita, i tuku i tō tātou whakamoimiti, whaimuri tēnā, ka hoa atu te rākau ki ngā kai kōrero, i tuku i ona, i o rātou whakaaro, i o rātou kōrero, hei toha toha, i o rātou wā, ki te tāho tō tātou poronga. O tira, e te āpōtoro, kai a koe te tāmi nāne.
Kia tama no tarangi mari winya tātou. Ai rungi te ngoa, tamato ta tamato ai rua tapu me ngā nera puno. A ko te maanga he tautoko mai. Ai anei, aka nei, ai. A toa tahi tō tātou waita aue ihoa. E no te morihu, I rungi te ngō matatama waira tapu me ngā nera pono ka te maanga he tautaku mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Nō reira te maanga I ngā nehera pono e te tokotori tapu. Tēnei hau tako tō ponunga kei te tū, kei te tāpai no ki a koe te nihengo te tinana me te wairua. Kia pūranga tu ai ki te wahi kari te mako te moga he kakau e no hoki mai ka whaiwahi mai kia hau. Ka nō nau I runga te ngā kauri pena tā. Te whakaitanga ki te whatumanua, ke tuwate, te tinana me te wairua. I ngā wakatoa, mauna ki te māngai kia tūturu kia pūmau, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Nō reira te māngai I ngā nehera pono e te tokotori tapu. Kia tatu māno koutou ki wainganui ki tēnei whakamoimiti o mātou. Hei tātare I ngā kupu katoa, e whakapua nana mātou I roto te koutou kororiatanga. A ko koutou nei hoki te timatanga, me te whakootinga, mai o mātou e tumanaka tenei roto te koutou kororiatanga, a ko te māngai tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Tonga te tāpai me te ripenata, e te morehu, e whakai ana ra tātou, ki te tāpai atu, i o tātou he katoa ki o tātou ariki. Kia tahuna ki te ahika pungirihu rawa atu, ne? Ai. Ka nono tātou rungata ngā kauri penata, kia whanahu wairo te wairoa, ne? Nō re rei te māngai ngā nehera pono, kua rongo i hōnei koutoto mātara o tāpai ri penata, nō re rei tikai ki hoa te matapaka mo me te ki mua ki o koutou waruaru, mo koutou tene manakitanga, i whiwhinei mātou mai ngā rāki muri tāna mai ki tēnei haora. A kei inua tēnei mātou ki o whakunga mai tō koutou arua no, i rungi a mātou i ngā wakatoa, a ko te māngai anō hei tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Tō tātou wai ta whakamomiti, number 51, mo te hunga kua oki oki. Te tangi atu nei, kia kota e ngā reki ki tō E no, e rungi te ngō matatama were tapu me ngā nera pono ka te manga no he tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Nō reira ka noha nau, i te māhau o toku whare, mai te whetu māra mo te kotahitanga, tai atu ki te whare whakamami te ara te tema para tapu i hoa ngā mano, tua uri uri whai o ki tonu tarangi ta whenua tana nui o tona nei kororia. Whakamuimiti, whakakroria, whakawhetai ka koe i hoa ngā mano. Matua tama wairua tapu me ngā nera pono ko te māngai hei tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Nō reira e tama. E Pakaitore. Ko oti tau mahi rungi te mato te whenua. Kua tai mai te tini te mano kia poraporo aki a koe. Kua tai mai anu hoki ngā nehera pono. Ki te hari a tō wairua ki te torona i wha ngā mano. Nāna nei i homaya nāna no. I tangu atu i a koe i te neira. Nō reira e Pakaitore. Haere atu rā. Haere atu rā. Haere atu rā. Haere atu rā i rote te kapo ta ringa o iwa o ngā mano. E tika ana te koro kei roto ko Pakaitore mau. Nō reira e Pakai. Haere atu rā. A ka mihi au kia koutou te whānau kirimate. Te whānau pani e tangi nei. Kia Pakaitore kia koe e pāhia me tō whānau. Kia Pakaitore anu hoki kia koe e tasi. Mai hoe manaki te anu hoki koe kia kōto katoa i wānge nui tēnei pauritanga. Kia kaha kia maia kia mano nui roto te māramatanga. I tuku iho kia tato katoa. Karanga atu rā ngā nehera pono a kai roto. Kaya rata ngā nehera pono e kawia o koutou inoi. Ki te toro nā i wā. Mo tō tātou nei pununga. Nō reira e te whānau. Tēnei te mihi. Tēnei te mihi. A tēnei rā ta miano ki kia koutou i aku nei tamba. Aku nei rangatira o te pai nei. E mi anu ki kia koutou e mahi nei i te au te pō mo tō tātou nei pununga. Nō reira tēnei te mihi. Tēnei te mihi. A tēnei te mihi o ki kia koe e te tumuaki. A kia koe anu hoki. A ki te mea o rangi tikei. Last night I heard that Pakaitore was a mayor. So I'd just like to invite the Mayor of Rangatike to come to celebrate Mayor Pakaitore for his journey to the throne of Jehovah. So nō reira tēnā koe. A tēnei rā te mi anu hoki kia kōtou e ngā kaikaranga, e ngā paukia, e ngā mori ko tai mai, i tēnei rā i runga takaranga te pununga e takoto mai nei. Nau mai, whakatau mai, haere mai. First and foremost, I would like to welcome each and every one of you who are gathered here today to celebrate the life of Pakaitore. And we thank God for the gifts of his life. We thank him for his life as we knew it. We thank him for his life as he saw it. And as he has come to his final rest, we thank God that in memory we see hope. That in death we see life. For the love of God is life that no grave can destroy. We ask God to be especially with the whānau and to all those to whom he has meant so much. Do not let grief warp. Do not let sadness overwhelm. But may God help you in the days ahead to be strong, to love, and to trust one another in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And I would like to also welcome the many friends who have come here today for Pakaitore. And the Samoan community, I too also like to welcome each and every one of you. So nō reira, kia piki te ora, piki te kaha, piki te māramatanga, me te rangi mari, i rungi a tātou katoa. Ai rungi te ngota mato te tamata wairua tapu me ngā nera pono, ako te māngai he tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. When you lose a loved one, it's never easy to accept. We find ourselves searching for a reason for why this has happened. And we struggle. We struggle to make sense of it all. But death, we must face. For death does not discriminate. Death doesn't care whether you are young, whether you're old, rich or poor, a politician, a rugby player or a king. Death doesn't care. And when death comes, he comes to kill, steal and destroy the flesh and the soul. And when he's finished to some, God gets the blame. But there is hope. Death is not the end, but is the beginning of a new life with the Father. A new purpose, a new journey, a new way of life for all our loved ones who have passed on. Hope comes when you least expect it. Hope is knowing that when you lose a loved one, God is waiting to receive them into his kingdom. Hope is not wishful thinking. Hope is knowing that God can overcome the tragedy of loss and death, and against all odds overcome the pain and suffering when you do lose a loved one. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. So, e te whānau, fear not death, for death is only but a doorway to eternal life. Pakaitore has only gone next door. He is on his journey in a new chapter in his life. So kia ka, kia maya, kia manu nui. Your life is likened unto a clock of life. With the clock of life, it is only but wound once. And no one knows when the hands of the clock will stop. What year, what day, what hour, or what minute. One thing for sure, though, the clock of life will stop. And when it does, make sure you have fulfilled your purpose in life for God. Don't wait till tomorrow to live your life, because if you do, you may find that the hands of the clock may stop. Live your life in the present. Do not live for yesterday or tomorrow, but live in the now, so that when the handle of the clock stops for you, and if it is your time to leave this body, no one can stop it. We have one life to live, so live your life with passion. The material things that we invest in are left behind only to be discarded. Life is not always about the material things that we invest in, no, but it's about our spiritual life after death that matters most. So if it is your time to leave this body, you need to know that you can say to yourself, I have lived my life, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. It's hard to comprehend the loss of a loved one, especially when the loved one is so young and dear to your heart, like Pakaitore. But there's one thing for sure. Pakaitore was born a gift from God, handcrafted in the image of the Father. He wasn't just created, but he was masterly created with the hand of God. And so we come here today to celebrate his life and to farewell Amir and send him on his journey back to the Father. And so, kia kaha, kia maya, kia mano nui. And last and not least, Pakaitore, he was given a special name. His name was born out of the confiscation of the land of Pakaitore in Wanganui. When the whole nation of Māoridom came together under Kotahitanga. And now he leads us on the dawning of a new day where nighttime has passed and the dawning of a new day draws near. Where a rising generation, prophecy tells us, will rise up with the hand of God. And they will be fearless in the face of adversity. This nation will rise. Why? Because they are the chosen race of God that was taken out of Israel and sent to the most furthest place south of Israel, to a land down under. And God says that he will put his words in their minds and write it upon their hearts. And he said he will be their God and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. On our journey, as our Māori crossed the great oceans, many hopped off. Like Samoa, they stopped off in their waka in Samoa. But the Māori carried on because we had a purpose for God. And that purpose, that one day all nations will come together and unite under the umbrella of Ihoa Ngā Manu. When Pakaitore was born, his name representing, he came for the Māori land. But now Ihoa is coming for all lands, for his people. The great day for the self-determination of the Māori nation and all Pacific nations are about to rise up. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. For it be by what standard of measure you give will be measured to you in return. So kia ka e te mori. Rise up, because the Holy Spirit came to our people. I wasn't going to say this, but I will say this for those who don't know it. When the Holy Spirit came to our Papa Tahu Potiki Wirimu Rātana, a voice spoke from out of the cloud and he said, "Be at peace, fear not, for it is I, the Holy Spirit, that speaks. I have returned from the Great World War and I have been seeking a place to establish myself among the peoples of the world, but in vain the world has forgotten me. And they boast about the knowledge and power after all which I have given to them. Thus I have come to you, the Māori people. If you are loyal to me, I will establish myself here with you. Cleanse yourself as white as snow, as sinless as the wood pigeon. And I will lift you up high upon this mountain. And I will make you a beacon unto the world, that you may show the world the way, the truth, and the life of the Father. For there is no other God like me. In the heavens above, on the earth, on the worlds beneath, I am the only God, said the Lord. Cleanse yourself as white as snow, as sinless as the wood pigeon. Because this is your time, and this is his time. So rise up, people. There's work to be done. Pakaitore has now gone from us, and the dawning of a new day draws near for the great migration of the Māori nation. Nō reira te māngai ngā ne hera pono e te tokotori tapu. Whakainga mai ngā kupu tika rota tēnei pahu te rota ki ngā whatu manu o te morihu. Hei painga mo te tinana, hei painga mo te wairua, a ko te māngai, hei tautoko mai, ai anei, aka nei, ai. Hawe.
The man with the mighty name and the mighty game. My cousin was born on the 8th of March 1995, 10 days into the reoccupation of the tribal lands known as Pakaitore. Auntie Tamala and Uncle Paya had wanted a home birth, and although Nani Tari had suggested that that could happen at Pakaitore in the caravan, it wasn't something Auntie Tamala was willing to go through. But more so, and more importantly, and it's right that we have my cousin here, lying here at home, because this is where he was born. Uncle Pāhe and Auntie Tamala were confident and ensured that there was only one place where he could be born, and it was here at home at Whangahu Marae. Uncle Pāhia wanted to bestow the honour of naming his baby son to Koro George. So when baby was born, only an hour old, Koro George went to the 7 o'clock karakia at Pakaitore to ask for an appropriate name. The old people were united. The baby must be called Pakaitore. Uncle Pāhia wasn't overly, let's just say, excited about the name. And more so because he was worried that his son would never get a job anywhere in the country. At a time like that, when Pakaitore was slammed across every TV channel, every news, and so he was worried that his son may never get opportunities in life. But on reflection, Uncle Pāhia took it as a privilege for his son to be able to hold this name. You know, a name that our whānau holds so close with the greatest respect of all that comes with it. Just as Pakaitore, the reoccupation signalled a new spirit of vitality that would reflect the heartbeat of our iwi, the birth of Pakaitore, the baby, and his life has been one of vibrance, of excitement, and of deep love. And last night we spoke about that love. And if you knew Pakaitore, he was a man of very words until he was 2 bottles deep. But before those bottles, he spoke with his actions and he spoke with his heart. And there's a reason why we've all come here today, and it's because of the love that we felt and the love that he shared and the love that you shared with him. He loved people. He loved his culture, and he loved his Samoan culture. He really wished he could be a Samoan, but as we all heard last night, we were fortunate enough to have a Samoan nephew and a Samoan son. And so I'm just going to invite a cousin to come up and share some words of when Pakaitore was growing up here in Wangahu, here in Wanganui. He spent a lot of his childhood here, and whilst he spent most of his teenage and adulthood outside, I think it's only right that we start with those memories. So tēnā koe, Grayson.
Taku piki amokura, amohia te aroha, e kore rāua e motu, i ngā tūmaha e. Ka tangi taku māpū, e Pakaitore, e moi, e oki. Cousin, it's been a long week, and I'm sure the undies I put on this morning are paru. Kia ora koutou, my name is Grayson Tihima, I'm Pakaitore's cousin. You probably heard a few stories about me last night. He wasn't better than me, he just got better than me. I was asked to present his eulogy a few nights ago when we touched down in Brisbane. I turned to my brother Logan and showed him the message. He without hesitation replied, "Yeah, you got this." I hope so. So, thank you, Uncle. I know he would have done the same for me. While there is all of us here, I'd like to acknowledge everyone watching over the world who can't be here. Tai Karera made the observation the other day in Sunnybank, because that was live streamed. You're going to have to change it for back home. Great observation, my cousin. Thanks for the added pressure. Pakaitore Hori Tukotei Turia, son of Pāhia and Tamala, was born on the 8th of March 1995 e Wangahu Marae. He's the beloved younger brother of Taikarira and the older brother of Tia, Tāwana, Leela, Regan, and Rangitahua, and uncle to many of his nieces and nephews. Pakaitore is the adored grandson to his Koro George, Nan Tari, Nani Au, and Koro Pups. Pakai was a famous public figure for his achievements, more commonly his love for rugby, but his smile is the reason we're all gathered here today. His journey to success started when Uncle Pahia stopped coaching him. I hate to say it again. Pakaitore began his schooling at Te Kuro Kokohuia in Wanganui, where he joined Raniera and Shade to form the trio of Charlie's Angels. He'd hang out in his father's classroom where he was a teacher, eating and crying all day. I don't know when, but I assume this is where he adopted the nickname Fat Man. Further from here, he attended Keith Street Primary, where again his favourite subject was lunchtime. He then made his way to Wanganui Intermediate. This is where he'd begin the transition to a young adult. He excelled in basketball, rugby and touch. Whilst he was there, he also attended Kip McGrath. If you don't know what Kip McGrath is, it's an after-school math tutoring class. I used to love dropping him off there with Uncle because we'd drive off, but his lip would still be in the car. Pakai was by far a standout sportsman amongst his peers. He had a great kicking boot, unreal step and flip of feet that would try and keep up with his bobbing head. Pakaitore was often found at the skate park in Wanganui East or Castlecliff. He was into skateboarding, BMX, or picking on any white boy twice his age and height. I stand here today on our marae on Whangahu, Pakaitore's kāinga, his home. At an early age, he had his own cars, motorbikes, and anything else that involved being mischief. We'd often have the joy of witnessing Pakaitore's love for his pastimes, watching him blast around the paddocks and getting shot in the neck. He was the only kid at intermediate driving their father halfway home from school. Marangai was all our kids' playground. Pakai's dad had a flash house and the door was always open for his friends and cousins. After intermediate, Pakai moved by his nanny and koro to begin his legacy at Wellington College. The move for him to pursue his dream of being a professional rugby player was a no-brainer, but it came with the hurdle of leaving his papa. Pakaitore was a rare addition to the senior boys touch team as a Year 9 student, but seamlessly slotted in the middle to play a pivotal role at secondary school nationals. He played age grade group representative rugby for Wellington throughout his progression through schooling, whilst navigating Cole in the first 15 in his latter years at first 5. A standout moment for him, and most would say arguably, was one of the best performances in schoolboy rugby history by an individual, was against St. Pat's. Pakaitore calmly kicked his side to victory in a man-of-the-match performance and solidified his spot as one of the best emerging fly halves in the country. Post-school, Pakai moved to university in Wanganui, well, Māori University as we called it, also known as the Meatworks. He joined myself as well as his other cousins, where we used our hard-fought education to pay our way through our unpaid future. This is where the antics really kicked off. Everyone touched on Pakai's flash cars. One memory I have, he just bought his Evo, and as many of you know, his desire to get one up on his cousin and anything was another hobby of his. We were heading out to Ratana one day, and we were keen for a race. I was in my car, Pakai was in Te Tua's, and Tua wanted to turn at driving Pakai's car. This was my chance. I lined Pakai's Evo up on the Marangai Straight and went flying past him. It was a rush, man. I pulled back in front of him, looked in the rear view mirror, and there's smoke pouring out from underneath his new car. Because he wasn't driving, he was quick to point the finger at Te Tua. Ow, you broke my car. His cars went flash, they were kaka. Whilst his stint in Wanganui was short, he, unlike us, knew there was more for him, and he returned to Wellington. It wasn't long after his return, we were gathering at a mate's one night. I was waiting for him. He said, "Cuz, meet me down the driveway." Unlike his usual unannounced open door policy, I knew something was up. "Cuz, I'm having a peepee." He was over the moon, and along came Arahia. Pakaitore began navigating his way through fatherhood, juggling this as well as mahi. Paka was playing rugby for Pōneke. Not surprisingly, it wasn't long until his talent would pay off. Pakaitore debuted for the Wellington Lions against Hawke's Bay on the 20th of August 2016. Now then, along with his sporting attributes, we all knew Pakai loved a good time. He was a tall, lanky, and would happily let people know that if you had a problem with the boys, you had a problem with him. It was an infectious duty that he had to look after his mates and his whānau. Pakaitore would go on to rack up 113 caps for Pōneke. He was a force to be reckoned with in Wellington Club Rugby, and in saying so, he was snatched up by Haida Boys Marist for a season in between. Pakai also had a love for golf, just not many people loved playing against him. He was just naturally a freak at anything, swimming as a youngster and running. Well, running inside to avoid mowing the lawns. I don't ever recall seeing him push the mower. He was a bit of a dancing man in town, loved the kanikani, loved drinking, and loved getting dragged out of the club. After a few passing years, Pakaitore would have an addition to his babies, and much to his joy, he'd welcome the arrival of his boy Hawaiki. Pakaitore was a father of 2 beautiful babies, and as hard it would have been for him, he decided it was time to make the big Australian move. And I just want to touch on one thing that Uncle Mick said the other night. Everyone talked about his rugby and how good of a player he was, but the biggest thing that he said was how great of a father he was to his 2 babies. Before Pakaitore went to Wellington College, he went for an interview at Palmerston North Boys High School. I'm an ex-student there, and the school's pretty big on reading after lunch every break. He walked into the interview, and after answering several questions, the principal asked him if he was reading any books. Parker replied, "Yep, I'm reading The Silver Sword." "Ah, that's a great book. What part are you up to?" He goes, "Oh, the front cover." "And for you, my cuz, as much as I hate reading, I'm going to finish that book for you. One day." Look, as hard as it is, we've had our tangi. Now we need to look at each other in the eye and smile. His was infectious. Have that impression on someone else around you, even if you have no teeth. Everyone I've greeted here over the last week, and all of you would probably agree, we've been quick to say to each other, "I love you," without hesitation. So don't let that fade. Normalize this in your everyday life. It's not unusual or weird to share your aroha. We've been taught a lesson by Pakaitore's passing, so take what you've learned, do him justice, and pass the torch. The most important thing to take from here this week is not all is lost. There is hope for our future. It may not be evident now, but one day you'll be sitting there, you'll look up, and you'll smile. Just trust he'll be smiling back. Nō reira, I love you, my cousin. Your teats.
Tēnā koe, my cuz. Tēnā koe. I'm just reaching out. I haven't told you, but Ben, if you're here from Wellington Co, Uncle Pai here wants you to have some words. But moving on to our next speaker, as you heard in Grayson's speech, Pakaitore spent a bit of time, there he is right there. Tēnā koe, bro, haere mai. Pakaitore spent a lot of time in Australia, and after meeting his Australian brothers, I can see why they clicked. And later on, we're going to be graced with, I believe, with what was the glue for Pakaitore to make them part of his brotherhood. But before we move on to that, I just want to invite the bro Ben up to share some words. Pakaitore led him astray, but the Lord in him saved him. And so without further ado, tēnā koe, bro.
Kia ora, everyone. He's not lying. I've been put on the spot, so normally I like to use humour to, hide my nerves, but I used all my jokes yesterday, so if I go quiet, just laugh. Like that, that was good. Obviously, massive honour. I'm really honoured that you allowed me to be able to stand here on the pie today and be able to speak. It's really funny, we're driving in and we're seeing all the cars and we're just laughing because we're like, bro, Parks is the type of guy that'll be like, gee, see how many people rocked up to see me? You know what I mean? Just because that's the type of character he was, just always a clown, always a joker. But if anything, I think the bro, Grayson touched on it before, the one thing that you could see, and to be honest, I actually hadn't seen him in a while, but the one thing that you could see from afar was that he loved his kids, man. Great father, great man. And if anything, if there's one thing that we can take from him, especially seeing how many people have come out today, is to do exactly what everyone's been saying. And I know it sounds a little bit cliche, I know it sounds a little bit repetitive, and you hear this all the time, but genuinely, man, like, check on your mates, bro. 100%. But Pakai, flip, man, we love you. And I don't just speak on behalf of everyone from Wellington College, but I speak on behalf of everyone here, man. Like, you showed us, you showed us how to be a funny guy. You showed us how to have infectious joy. You know what I mean? And I remember, and a couple of boys can testify to their own conversations with you over the last couple of weeks. I remember, bro, just like watching you do your thing in Brizzy from afar and seeing your message, and I was like, gee, like, you look so happy. And I'm genuinely really happy for you. And then he was just like, man, I am, you know what I mean? And bro, like to look around the room and see the caliber of people here. One thing we can't stop talking about is the amount of people that we actually haven't seen in years, and seeing everyone come together, to unite together, to show their aroha for you, my bro. Shout out to Joe Scott and Brad Forster, our Pākehā brothers from Dub C. They can't stop talking about, because this is their first experience ever being at a Tangihanga, and they can't stop talking about how awesome it is to see the love that the Turia whānau have showed everyone here, but also the love reciprocated from everyone back as well. If you know anything about Pakai, everyone talks about it all the time, but he always had backs, man. On and off the field, for sure. And if you knew anything about him just on the rugby field, he was a man of few words. Obviously, his first five, you got to talk quite a lot. But besides that, he was just the man of action. And we look at the things that he did over his time, and we look at all the actions that he did over his time, and we can honestly sit back. Like today is obviously a day of mourning, but also a day of celebration, because we get to celebrate the life of an amazing father, an amazing brother, cousin, son. And I know I can speak for everyone here when I say that we would never be able to repay the impact that you had in our lives, bro. It leaves a sore spot for sure. Like, if I'm just being honest, like, I still can't even really process it, because it just doesn't feel real. Like, we were all drinking cover till like 7 a.m. last night. And, sorry, Dad. I'm still Christian, I promise. And then we just couldn't stop talking about the stories and about the things that you would do if you were there, bro. And I guess, in a way, it was super comforting, but it was also sad, because, like I said, you've left a massive hole in this group, man. A lot of the boys could never really put into words how much you mean to us, and honestly, like, we're just being real, it sucks that it had to come to this for us to have to say it to you, G. We love you also. Again, like I told you, bro, if they ever need us, we got your babies, man. Love you, brother. Kia ora koutou.
We're going to move right along to our last eulogy. Brother Lips, tēnā koe, bro.
Kia ora, tālofa lava, pakalofa lahi atu ki mutolu osi. My name is Lepauwhe Afuhiniu. Many know me as Leps. And I had the pleasure of calling Pākai a brother after the both of us made the move to Brisbane, signing with, you know, the Queensland Reds, yeah, well, their bottom seed club, Sunnybank Dragons. Our friendship kicked off, like many others, over a beer. We'd have a few drinks at his place, and straight away, there were mocks thrown at each other and lots of banter. As a result of my exotic melanin complexion, he'd ask where I disappeared to when the lights were off. And I'd return serve and offer him a carrot to satisfy his 2 front teeth. After a few of these nights, we actually got a lot closer. One night sticks out to me the most, where it was just the 2 of us left. We'd ask each other questions like we were on a first date. What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? This went on for hours, with a few tears in between. And before I knew it, I was trapped in what I like to call the Pākai effect. It's been interesting this week. I've seen and heard so many stories from friends and family about the person Pākai was. And it's crazy to see the impact he's had on so many people from different stages of his life. What I realized this week was that I wasn't the only victim of the Pākai effect. The Pākai effect was designed to include a cheeky grin, a physique like the stick man on the Pack and Save ads, and some horrendous toes that never saw the light of day. The Pākai effect also had some technical issues, one of those being a relentless desire to be the center of attention. In prepping for my wedding, he asked me one day what I had planned for the groomsmen to wear. Little did I know that his intention was to wear the exact same thing so that everyone who attended the wedding would think he was in the line and he could join us at the head table. The Pākai effect also included a freakish ability to be good at everything he did. Whether it was on the golf course, an attempt at making raw fish, or dugging to any song, no matter the musical genre, he had managed to pull it all off. Well, except for one thing. The Pākai effect was a punish on karaoke nights. His rendition of Maroon 5's Sunday Morning was both lyrically inaccurate and pitchy at the same time. On the contrary, the Pākai effect was also perfectly engineered to include love, a gentle soul, and a generous spirit. When I first joined Sunnybank, the missus would come with me and wait in the car while we trained. After a couple sessions, Pākai noticed this and on his own accord went and knocked on the window, gave Nina a hug and introduced himself. The first person in the playing group to do so. That may not seem like a big deal to many, but to me, it showed me that he got it. He understood what good looked like in those situations. And I witnessed him care for and love everyone around him in the same way. His love for his family was unmatched. I was in Wellington just last Christmas. Pākai messaged me on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, brother. Nan's had an accident, so I might be heading home soon, as it's not looking too good. At this stage, I knew my bro was going through it a bit. And so I responded, sending my apologies, and proceeded to tell him, don't you screw anything up before your flight. Your family will need you. Sure, brother, he said. I won't. It'll be good to go home. I need to see everyone. It'll be a reset. Whether he said it directly to you all or not, he definitely said it to me. That he absolutely loved and adored you all. The things he'd say about his upbringing and his family was everything I needed to know to validate my choice as having him as a brother for life. In all seriousness, throughout the last couple years, we've had some tough and confronting conversations. Conversations that I would encourage men to have more and more often. It bloody hurts being here and laying our brother to rest. But there's a call to action, to check in and check on your people. Tell them and show them that you love them. Pakai was a good man, a man with a huge heart who just wanted to make his beautiful children proud. I miss you, Pakai. And if there's one thing you've taught me on how to live my life moving forward, it is to create my own Leps effect, minus the trash singing and outdated Dougieing. I love you, Pakai. The boys, Karanina and I, will always carry you in our hearts. And I'll tell my future children all about their handsome, loving, and talented hearty uncle from Wanganui. Manuine whenonga, manui alomalanga. Fala, your turn.
So family, Hape se vai tafe e filemu peluti ai pei ile so langane o te mo limau bea elelei elelei ali elelei elelei le ali elelei elelei le ali so I love it.
Just as the bro was singing, I could only imagine Pakaitore going, yeah, that's my bro. And you can see why he touched so many hearts. Because he would have been thinking, yeah, I can sing that too. Is that all, bro? Nah. Kōrero is the answer. kōrero is the answer. And our speakers before me, they have just shared their words, resonated one thing, and that was love, and that was to talk. You know, Bob Marley once said, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option. In this last week, we have all struggled to understand, to find a way through the maze of emotions that we've all had to navigate. The other day, my cousin Penny Tuoko had put up a post to Pakaitore saying, you taught me everything about life except how to live without you in it. You know, and I think perhaps that's the biggest mission now. To remember the life he lived and the love he gave and received, the magic of his smile and the mischief of his laugh. One of the first interviews Pakaitore done in 2014 as an up-and-coming rugby player, it was quite insightful, surprisingly. But his favourite superhero was the Hulk. His rugby idol was Cornell Mason. But more importantly, his motto to live by was the words of our tūpuna rangitihi tahupārai. Ko au te taupā ki hai I puawai aku moi moia. I am my own barrier in fulfilling my aspirations and dreams. The thing is that even Hulk can have some bad days. Our challenge has to be how we fly like the eagle over the storm until we get to a better place to live our dreams. When clouds gather, the eagle uses the storm's wind to lift itself higher. This gives the eagle an opportunity to glide and rest its wings. This is when we reach out to our mates, our cousins, our mums, our dads, and our brothers and our kids to help each and every one of us to keep flying. What we can do now is to make sure that we are not, through our words and actions, creating any further harm to all of us as we try to rest our wings until we are ready to fly again. We need to focus on the taonga we have lost, but we must talk about them with love and laughter. The life they lived and the funny things they did, because Pakaitore done a lot. We have to talk to resolve to ensure the vibe, the words, the stories we tell resonate with love. With love. Love is what we need most at a time like this. And it's been the word that's been shared throughout the whole time since hearing of the passing of our cousin. And it's the one thing that us as people, it doesn't cost to give. To be kind, to be generous, and to be loving. Turia te pō ka ao ka awatea. How do we move from the darkness into the light after the experiences we've gone through? Grief is like the ocean. It comes in waves, ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it is overwhelming. All we can do is to learn to swim. It will be a process of relearning to live in this world without a man, without a boy, without a son, without a brother no longer here with us. You know, hearing all of the tributes, it's been beautiful to see the pledges shared as we make our own commitments to Pakaitore, to Uncle Pāhia, to Najala, to Auntie Tam, to Mari, to Arahia, and to Hawaii. And we've all made commitments that we will continue to share his love and his stories. And I extend that out to his siblings, Taikarera, Regan, Tia, Tāwana, my little cousin, Rangitahua, and to his nephews. You know, my cousin lost for words. When I seen my Uncle Grant for the first time, I knew he would be thinking the same thing. Karehe kupu. Karehe kupu. But one thing we can guarantee you, my cousin, and you've heard it from your brothers, and you've heard it from the motu that have come to pay their respects, is they will make sure, and we will ensure, that your kids live on in the stories that we tell them and the memories that we share that we have spent with you, my cousin. We have to treasure the moment. We have to treasure the memories. All that we love deeply becomes part of us. Pakaitore would always be a part of us. But what do we do when Te Reo stops playing? You know, if Nani Tari was here, she would say this: what is one thing you are going to do because of this? What is one thing e tātou mā you are going to do because of this? You know, and I could only imagine what Nan will be doing right now. But I can guarantee you, if she was here, that's exactly what she would be saying. What would we all be doing because of this? Is it to reach out to our mama, Auntie Tam, Paige, Ripika, Taikarera, Najala, and let them know how inspiring it is to see them being such beautiful mama? And I take this opportunity to acknowledge, because it's going to be a tidal wave of emotions to have to navigate 2 children through. Or maybe is it speak man to man to our brothers, to our cousins, to our mates, and to our uncles. Ask them, are you sleeping okay? Are you okay? But more importantly, is there anything you want to talk about? E tāne mā, I ngā pō, I tūau, ki te kōrero i pēnei ai ki koutou. Tēnei au anō, he kōrero pēnei ai ki koutou. Tāne mā, it's okay to not be okay. But it's not okay when we don't go and get help. Reach out to your brother. Reach out to your cousin. Reach out to your uncle. But more importantly, ki koutou ngā pāpā, reach out to your sons. Kawa e ware ware. He rongoa ki roto i te tangi. He rongoa ki roto i te tangi. There's healing in tears. And as men, I know we're always quite proud and have a pride to not want to show that side of us. But it is within us. E tāne mā, there is healing within our tears. Please don't be afraid. If there's one thing that I could have said to my cousin during my nan's tangi, was exactly those words. He didn't mind sharing a tear. And when you seen him share a tear, you knew that it meant something to him. But one thing he wasn't very good at was talking. And so if there's anything that we want to continue on, is to ensure that we talk. Kōrero, kōrero, kōrero. What I know is that two things in life can change you and you will never be the same again. And that's love and grief. You will never be the same after you've experienced those two things. Good or bad. We have to figure this out together. Our love for Pakaitore and our grief are connected. We have to be brave enough to be vulnerable I tātou mā. We have to be comfortable within vulnerability. We have to be comfortable within vulnerability. We have to be strong enough to talk. Strong enough to talk about those things that are on our mind. And we have to be honest. Honest enough to say what we're all going through. You know, for the first 2 days, I had friends, uncles, cousins come up to me. How you doing, boy? How you doing, cuz? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, no, good. You know, kare kapu, no words. But today, woke up, my love asks me, you right, hun? I knocked down, I was like, nah. To have to come to this day where we will no longer see that smile, tinana, but only through a photo and only through his kids. He pāpauri tēnei wā. But there's one thing that we can all take away from this. And it's to be honest with ourselves. And it's to be honest with each and every one of the people that you love. Do not let his life go in vain. Do not let the actions define us. All we need to do is just reach out. Reach out to that place. Reach out to those people. Even if it's reach out to that kai. Now these rongoa and everything that we have in our surroundings. And kai is definitely one of them. But you know, we need friends. When you need a hug, don't be afraid. It doesn't cost. And it definitely doesn't cost to just lend a hand and go, are you a good bro? And so on that note, that brings us to the end of this part of Pakaitore's journey. But just one message that Uncle Pa here wanted to make sure that everyone walked away knowing was that love that Pakaitore shared with you, you have a commitment to continue that love and to pass it on and to create the ripples throughout your spaces, but more importantly, to ensure every opportunity you get to be able to share that with his daughter and with his son. You do that. You do that. We may live in different places, in different times, but love can be unconditional forever and ever and ever. It's the one thing that doesn't cost. It's the one thing that has a start, but there's never an ending. Because love continues beyond the life that we spend here on this earth. It continues through the people that we've touched. and the lives that he has spared. So e tātou mā, please take these words of Uncle Pāhia, the pāpā of Pakaitore, and do something with it. Do something with it. Love your brother, love your cousin, love your sister, love your mother, and most importantly, love your kids. Pakaitore wasn't a man of many words, but one thing he was very great at was showing that. So e tātou mā, mai te whatu manua from the heart, that's how you show and that's how you continue the legacy of Pakaitore. O tira, tēnei mātou, te whānau, he mihi aroha ki koutou, ko tatu mai, ki te kawe mai o koutou aroha, roi mata, tēnei mātou o rangi waka Turia o Taitapu, e mihi, e mihi, e mihi. Whānau ora. Ai te kakaro e tirawa, ko te rākau waka ruru mau, me o nā pukenga o ngā hua, a tā hua. Take a time. E ara i te kukuroa, nā ngā kānau ki tureke. E tipu e awa, te wana ora
And the sun has set for me. I've got no rights in the moon for room. I cry for a soul set free. Miss me a little, but not too long. And not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that once was shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey I must take, and each must go alone. It's all a part of the Master's plan, a step on the road to home. When you are feeling lonely and sad, go to the friends we once knew. Embrace yourself with the love of God. Miss me, but let me go. No re ta māngai ngā nehera pono, e te tukotore tapa. Tēnei rātara whakamoi miki whakakroi e whakawhetai kia koe i whā. Mō tēnei mamakatanga ni o mātou mai ngā rāka muri tāna mai te tēnei hao. A ke inua tēnei mātou kia koe i whā kia teaken mana ke te ano ki te wairua tēnei panunga a koutou. Me humai ono hoki te pakitoa takahata māramatanga me te rangi mare ki rungi te whānau pani e tangi nei. Hori ana takahanga nera pono i wainga rātou. Me hiwi ako ki ene whānau ki te moihotanga me te mātauranga te whakapono tika tēnei māramatanga. O te mata te tamata wairua tapu me ngā nera pono a ko te māngai tautoko mai ai nei ak nei ai. Pallbearers.
then the old two kids. Then the old